Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to stop what you're doing. Stop scrolling. Stop making that mental to-do list for tomorrow. Stop thinking you've got time. Because you don't. You're running out of it. And the scariest part is you don't even feel it. We live in this illusion that we've got forever, that we can fix it later, that we can chase the dream, make the change, get healthy, leave the job, find the love, later, that we'll do it when we're ready, when we feel good, when life is a little more calm, when the timing is right. Man, the timing is right. But the timing will never be perfect. You will never feel ready. And a someday is the biggest lie you've ever believed. Every single day you wait is a vote against the life you say you want. And here's the truth nobody tells you. Your window is closing, slowly, silently, and permanently. You're either waking up to your life or you're sleeping straight through it. And I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to wake you up. Because sometimes it takes a little fear, a little fire, to snap you out of the trance you've been living in. You want to know what's scarier than failing? See it than failing. Waking up one day and realizing you never even tried. That you let fear, comfort, doubt, and procrastination build a cage you never had the courage to escape. That you lived a life full of excuses and empty promises to yourself. You think you're playing it safe? You're not. You're playing small. You're playing small. You're playing scared. And there's nothing safe about slowly killing your potential. Comfort is a liar. It whispers, just take it easy. You deserve a break. You've got time. And while you're binging Netflix and overthinking your next move, life is passing you by. There is no pause button on your life. There is no divine intervention coming to rescue you. No one's coming to push you. No one's coming to wake you up. That's your job. Do you know what happens when you stop lying to yourself and start moving with urgency? You begin to realize how powerful you really are. That all this time you didn't need more time, you needed more truth. The truth that life doesn't wait for you to be ready. The truth that hesitation is a decision. The truth that your dreams are dying in the name of comfort. You keep saying you want change, then act like you've got forever. You don't. Look around. Look at the calendar. Look at your habits. Look at your energy. Look at your regrets. Is this the person you want to be 5 years from now? Because if you don't change today, that's who you'll become. That's the wake-up call. And I get it. Life is overwhelming. You're tired. You've failed before. It feels impossible. But guess what? Impossible is just your fear dressed up in logic. It's not a wall. It's a story. And you can write a new one, but only if you get up and grab the pen. So what's it going to be? Another day of delay, or the day you decide, I'm done sleeping on myself. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just need to take the first uncomfortable, messy, terrifying step, and then another, and then another. Because small steps taken daily wake you up to a life that feels worth living. Let me remind you, you're not too old and it's not too late. But it will be if you keep living like you've got unlimited tomorrows. So wake up, get uncomfortable. Move now. Because the life you want isn't found in waiting. It's found in waking the hell up before it's too late. To living in the middle of your life right now, not in some distant future. This is not a rehearsal, and it's not a warm-up. This is it. And if you're constantly waiting for the right time, the truth is, you're wasting the time you've already been given. We always assume we'll have more time. We say things like, I'll start when I'm ready, or next year will be different, or when I get this job, when the kids grow up, when I feel more confident. But none of those excuses change one brutal fact. Life is happening right now. You're not going to wake up one morning with a perfectly clear calendar, no distractions, all the energy in the world, and a sudden wave of confidence. That day doesn't exist. And by waiting for it, you're letting your life slip away one day at a time. Every eel later is a no to a now. Every I'll do it someday is a silent agreement with mediocrity. If you don't wake up and realize that you're running out of elaters, you'll be stuck exactly where you are years from now, just with more regret and less time. Let's get real. You're not stuck because of your circumstances. You're stuck because you keep postponing the very action that would change your life. You keep thinking you need more information, more preparation, more confidence. But what you actually need is movement, progress, momentum. There's a cost to waiting, and it's not just your time. It's your fulfillment, your peace, your potential. The longer you delay stepping into who you're meant to be, the louder your inner voice will scream that something is missing. Most people live in this hazy fog of distraction. Wake up, scroll, work, numb out, sleep, repeat. And they wonder why they feel disconnected, unsatisfied, and uninspired. It's because they're sleepwalking through life, convincing themselves they're busy while doing everything but what matters most. And the scariest part, you can be busy every single day and still get nowhere. Activity does not equal progress. If what you're doing isn't bringing you closer to who you want to become, you're wasting precious energy on the wrong things. Here's something no one wants to admit. One day, you'll run out of chances. You'll run out of next times. You'll run out of next times. You'll run out of energy, flexibility, and time. And when that day comes, you won't regret the things you tried and failed at. You'll regret the things you were too scared to begin. The dreams you put on the shelf, the book you never wrote, the conversation you avoided, business you didn't launch, the version of you that you knew you could, but you never let her rise. You have today, and that is everything. You woke up, you're breathing, you're thinking, you're dreaming. That means there is still a fire inside you, even if it's just a flicker. But a flicker can become a flame if you feed it. So stop starving your future by feeding your fear. Stop thinking you have to be fearless to act. You don't. You just have to move anyway. Every minute you choose to be intentional, to speak kindly to yourself, to take one brave action, to reject a limiting belief, is a minute you are reclaiming your life. Every hour you put into building something that matters is an hour invested in your legacy. Every single day that you wake up and remind yourself, this is my shot, is a day that you win. Even if it's messy, even if it's imperfect, even if no one claps. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about realizing that the only moment that matters is this one. Because this one is the only one you can control. The past is over. The future isn't promised. But right now is power. Right now is where all your choices live. So make the ones that matter. You get one shot at this life. Just one. And that's not a reason to panic. It's a reason to get focused. Because you are not too late and you are not too far gone. But you are responsible. You are capable. And if you want to change your life, you need to stop waiting for someone to give you permission and start giving yourself a plan. So here it is. Decide who you want to be. Decide what matters most. Decide what you're done tolerating. Decide what you're not willing to lose. And once you decide, move, take one step, then take another, and keep showing up. Not because you feel like it, but because your future deserves it. Your life is not a dress rehearsal. The show is on. The curtain is up. The clock is ticking. And this moment is your cue to begin. Wake up before it's too late. There's a powerful truth most people don't realize until it's almost too late. Your habits shape your future. Every day, the small choices you make are either building the life you want or reinforcing the one you're trying to escape. And the most dangerous habits? They're not the big, dramatic ones. They're the subtle patterns you repeat without thinking. The snooze button every morning. The mindless scrolling. The second guessing. The self-doubt. The conversations you keep avoiding. The excuses you keep validating. You think your life will change when something big happens. A new job. A better relationship. A lucky break. But the reality is your life is already being changed. Right now by what you're doing consistently. It's not about a breakthrough moment. It's about the daily decisions you make when nobody's watching. The discipline you choose when it's uncomfortable. The standard you set for yourself when it would be easier to settle. That's where real change is born. Let me say this as clearly as I can. You will never rise higher than your standards. And your standards are reflected in your habits. If your standard is, I'll do it only when I feel motivated, you're going to be inconsistent, frustrated, and stuck. But if your standard becomes, I show up no matter what, then you become someone you can count on. And when you can count on yourself, your life changes. Because now you've got trust, and trust is the foundation of confidence. Confidence doesn't come from achieving something. It comes from keeping promises to yourself. It comes from showing up when it's hard. Sure. It comes from doing the thing you said you'd do, even after the mood you set it in has long disappeared. So many people wait to feel ready, but readiness is a trap. The people who make it, they're not ready. They're committed. They've decided that the life they want matters more than the discomfort it takes to get it. And they prove it through discipline, not motivation. You don't need a 5-year plan today. You need to stop breaking promises to yourself. You need to start your morning on purpose instead of by default. You need to sit in the discomfort of growth instead of numbing out with distractions. You need to stop negotiating with yourself Because every time you do, you're building the habit of quitting on your potential. And every time you choose discipline over comfort, you're building the habit of becoming unstoppable. Think about this. Who do you become if you just commit to 10 minutes of growth every day? 10 minutes of reading, 10 minutes of working on your dream, 10 minutes of silence, and you need. That may sound small, but that's over 60 hours a year. That's momentum. That's intentional living. That's the difference between staying stuck and slowly but surely stepping into your next level. And the beautiful part, that power is already in your hands. You don't need permission. You don't need permission. You just need a decision. Too many people are waiting for a wake-up call, but here's yours. It's not the big things that are holding you back. It's the repeated choice to give in to what's easy. It's thinking, it won't matter if I skip today. It's the belief that you have time to waste. But you don't. Time is your most precious resource, and your habits are how you invest it. Are you spending your time like it matters, or are you just filling it with noise? If you want to change your life, change one habit, not all at once. Not perfectly. Just one. Prove to yourself that you can keep one small promise. Stack that win, then do it again. The compound effect of discipline is real. It doesn't always look exciting, but it builds resilience, integrity, and focus. And over time, those small acts create a life you're proud of, a life that reflects your values, not your fears. And remember, you don't have to get it all right. You just have to keep going. Discipline is not about perfection. It's about persistence. You'll mess up. You'll miss a day. You'll feel discouraged. But what matters is that you don't make quitting your habit. What matters is that you stand up more times than you fall down, that you learn to trust yourself again, even if it's slowly, that you choose to believe in a future that looks different from your past, and then you build it brick by brick. So ask yourself, what's one habit I can start today that aligns with who I want to become? Not because someone else told you to, but because you deserve it. Because your future is worth the discomfort of discipline. Because 5 years from now, you're going to look back and either thank yourself or wish you had started sooner. Make sure the person you become is someone you're proud of because you had the courage to do the work when no one was watching. Every single day, the world will hand you distractions, notifications, noise, people's opinions, problems that aren't even yours. But if you're not intentional, you'll spend your entire life reacting instead of building. The truth is, most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they're unfocused. They're trying to do 100 things at once, and in the process, they don't commit fully to anything. And if you want to change your life, you need to understand this deeply. Focus is your superpower. Focus isn't about doing less for the sake of minimalism. It's about doing what matters with ruthless clarity. It's about choosing what deserves your energy and what doesn't. When you learn to focus, you stop leaking your time, your effort, your attention into things that don't move the needle. You stop pouring yourself into people who drain you. You stop chasing validation and start building results because you realize that focus is a choice. It's not about being naturally disciplined. It's about deciding every day to keep the main thing the main thing. You can't lead others if you're lost yourself. Protecting your time and energy isn't a luxury. It's a responsibility. You want to know what changes your life? Not talent, not luck, not the perfect timing. It's the decision to focus on what's in your control and let go of the rest. You can't control the economy. You can't control what people think, but you can control your effort, your attitude, your environment, your schedule. When you focus on those things, you regain your power. You start making progress. Not in leaps and bounds overnight, but in steady, intentional steps that build real momentum. And let's be honest, focus isn't always glamorous. Sometimes it means doing the boring stuff consistently, waking up early, saying no to social plans, turning off your phone when it's easier to scroll. Repeating the same action day after day with no immediate payoff. That's where most people quit. Because they're addicted to the dopamine of new, the thrill of variety. But mastery lives in repetition. Excellence is born from focus. Yeah. You don't build a legacy by dabbling. You build it by going all in. It's time to stop multitasking your way through life. Stop chasing every new opportunity that comes along. Stop trying to be everything for everyone. Start saying yes only to what aligns with your goals.
I know why.
Get laser clear on what you want and then filter every choice through that lens. Ask yourself, does this move me closer to the life I want or distract me from it? You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be clear and then be consistent. And yes, focus also means missing out. You're going to miss some events. You're going to skip some trends. You're going to be misunderstood. That's the price. But what you gain, peace, progress, confidence, clarity. You gain the ability to build something meaningful, something lasting, something that actually represents you. And isn't that worth more than temporary validation or fleeting excitement? Start small. Pick one thing, one goal, one habit, one dream, and give it your full attention for 30 days. Block out the noise. Shut down the excuses. Stop comparing. Just commit. Just commit. Just commit. Watch what happens when you stop scattering your energy and start channeling it. You'll be amazed at what you're capable of when you're not distracted. You'll build trust with yourself. You'll start seeing results. And most importantly, you'll become someone who finishes what they start. So no more excuses. No more waiting for the right moment. No more blaming your lack of time or motivation. You don't need more time. You need more focus. You need to be brave enough to let go of what's easy and commit to what's essential. You're not overwhelmed because you have too much to do. You're overwhelmed because you haven't clarified what matters most. Do that today, and then protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. Let's get real about something that's holding way too many people back: fear of failure. You want to start that business, go for that dream job, leave the relationship that's not serving you, move to that new city. But then the doubt creeps in. What if it doesn't work? Or what will people think if I fail? So you stay stuck, not because you don't have the potential, but because you're scared to fall on your face. You're afraid to look stupid, to waste time, to disappoint others, or yourself. But let me tell you something powerful. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. Every person you admire, every author, entrepreneur, leader, artist, they've all failed. Not once, many times. What separates them isn't that they avoided failure. It's that they learned how to walk through it, learn from it, and keep moving. The truth is, if you're not failing, you're not pushing yourself. You're staying safe. You're playing small. And you weren't born to play small. You were born to stretch, grow, and make an impact. But that only happens when you stop letting failure define you. Let me give it to you straight. Failure isn't personal. It's feedback. That idea didn't land. That's information. That relationship ended. That's clarity. The job interview flopped. That's redirection.
That's redirection.
Every failure contains a lesson, but you only get the lesson if you're willing to face it. Most people avoid failure so aggressively, they also avoid growth. They settle for comfortable and call it a stability. But deep down, they know they're not fulfilled. They know they're capable of more, but fear is louder than their potential. That changes the moment you stop fearing failure and start using it. You want to be successful? Then you've got to build a relationship with failure. You've got to be willing to look ridiculous, to be uncomfortable, to take risks that might not pay off right away. Because failure is a teacher. It reveals where you need to improve. It shows you what doesn't work so you can find what does. And the faster you fail, the faster you grow. You don't need to avoid failure. You need to get better at recovering from it. That's how you become resilient. Here's what most people don't realize. Failing doesn't make you a failure. Quitting on yourself does. And yes, failure hurts. It stings. It shakes your confidence. But it also reveals your strength. It forces you to build grit. It makes you humble, hungry, and honest. The most dangerous thing you can do is let failure silence you, because then you never try again. And that's the real tragedy. Not that you failed, but that you gave up. Think about this. How many times have you not even tried because you were scared to fail? How many dreams have you put on pause because you didn't want to be embarrassed? How many goals have you shoved into the background because you didn't want to face the possibility of not getting it right on the first try? That's not living. That's hiding. And you don't grow when you hide. You grow when you face the hard stuff and choose to keep going anyway. Let me remind you of something. Confidence doesn't come from winning. It comes from surviving. It comes from knowing I can mess up and still move forward. That's power. That's freedom. When you stop letting failure have the final word, you take your life back. You stop waiting for perfect timing. You stop needing approval. You start taking bold action, and that's when momentum kicks in. You've got to start seeing failure as a strategy, not a setback. Want to write a book? You'll write a bad draft first. Want to start a business? You'll probably mess up your first launch. Want to get fit? You'll have off days. That's not failure. That's the process. And the more you show up despite the fear, the faster you break through it. Here's the kicker. People are not thinking about your failure nearly as much as you think they are. Everyone's wrapped up in their own struggles. You're afraid of being judged, but most people are too busy judging themselves to worry about you. So stop living your life to avoid criticism that probably isn't even happening. You've got one life, one shot. And if you let fear of failure drive the car, you'll never leave the driveway. Take the risk, launch the thing, ask the question, make the move, and if it doesn't work, good. You'll learn, you'll adjust, you'll come back smarter and stronger. What matters isn't that you fail, it's that you don't quit. If you can fail forward, you can succeed. It's not a matter of if you fall down, it's a matter of how fast you get back up, so make a decision right now. Failure is no longer your enemy. It's your training ground, it's the fire that forges you, it's the test that becomes your testimony. And every time you get up after a fall, you build the courage to keep going. You become someone who cannot be stopped, not by failure, not by fear, not by the opinions of others. You become someone who finishes what they start, no matter how messy the journey looks. Wait. Because at the end of the day, it's not the wins that shape you most. It's the times you fell and stood back up. That's where character is built. That's where success is born. Here's a truth most people don't want to hear. Discipline is not something you're born with. It's not some magical gene that only successful people have. Discipline is a choice, and not just a one-time choice. It's a decision you make every single day. In fact, you make it minute by minute. You choose to get up when the alarm goes off instead of hitting snooze. You choose to go to the gym even when you're tired. You choose to sit down and focus when distractions are calling your name. And that's the part people get wrong. They think discipline is about being in the mood. It's not. It's about doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. Your future doesn't care about your feelings. Read that again. The life you want is not going to wait around until you're in the mood to go after it. Success doesn't come to the most talented. It comes to the most consistent. You don't need to be the smartest, the strongest, or the most gifted. You just need to be the one who shows up every single day, even when it's boring, even when it's hard, even when no one is clapping for you. That's what discipline is. It's self-respect in action. It's telling yourself, I'm not going to let my emotions dictate my progress. Now, I know it's not easy. Of course it's not. If it were easy, everyone would do it. Everyone would be rich, successful, fit, confident. But most people aren't because they wait for the motivation to magically show up. So, let me tell you something. Motivation is unreliable. It's like a flaky friend who shows up when life is fun and exciting, but disappears the moment things get tough. If you keep depending on motivation to carry you, you're never going to build anything lasting. Discipline, though. Discipline is your ride or die. It's your anchor. It's the voice that says, we're doing this no matter how we feel about it today. And the best part, the more you practice it, the easier it gets. Discipline, easier it gets. Discipline is a muscle. Every time you follow through on your commitments, you strengthen it. And every time you let yourself off the hook, you weaken it. So ask yourself, are you building strength or making excuses? Here's another powerful truth. Your habits shape your identity. You don't just do disciplined things. You become a disciplined person. It starts small. You drink the water instead of reaching for soda. You read for 10 minutes instead of scrolling. You go for a walk instead of watching Netflix. And little by little, you begin to see yourself differently. I'm someone who follows through. I'm someone who makes progress. I'm someone who honors their word. That identity is what fuels long-term change. But here's the thing. No one's going to do this for you. No one's going to wake you up, make your goals happen, keep you focused. This is on you. And that's not a bad thing. It's empowering. You are in charge. You get to decide what kind of life you build. You get to decide how much effort you bring. You get to decide if today moves you forward or keeps you stuck. And listen, discipline isn't about being perfect. It's not about grinding 24/7 or never having fun. It's about making more good choices than bad ones. It's about staying on course even if you stumble. It's about resetting quickly when you fall off. That's the difference between people who change their lives and people who don't. Not that they never mess up, but that they don't let a bad day turn into a bad week or a bad week into a bad month. And let me tell you something important. Discipline gives you freedom. I know that sounds backward, right? But it's true. When you have discipline, you gain control over your time, your energy, your money, your focus. You stop living reactively and start living with intention. You stop wasting time and start investing it. That's real freedom. The freedom to live the life you actually want, not the one you settle for because you never put in the work. It's not glamorous. It's not always exciting, but it's worth it. Every minute you put into building discipline compounds. It pays off in ways you can't even imagine right now. You'll wake up one day with a body you're proud of, a bank account that gives you options, a mindset that can handle anything, and a life you built with your own hands. In that moment, that's priceless. So stop waiting to feel ready. Stop hoping for the mood to hit. Stop saying, I'll start tomorrow. Because tomorrow is a lie. We tell ourselves to stay comfortable today. Start now. Start messy. Start scared. Start unmotivated. Just start unmotivated. Just start.